What's going down, everybody? It's your man Pro Diggy from the Chaos Crew, but you could call me Diggy if you like. And son of a bitch, no, you are not dreaming. It is an episode of Diggy and Flex. Flex has been like fucking retired or whatever because he's old. I don't know, he's taking a vacation at Club Med or something. But Reflex, say what up to the peoples.
What's going down, everybody? It's a long-awaited return of the Flex, and we're getting ready to do some stuff.
Return of the Flex. Return of the Flex. Okay, so anyway, first things first. These are just some Black Ops fucking games that I have sitting on my hard drive that were really short. So we decided to throw them all together. These are some. See, the first three are CTF matches. This one sucks because I was like, I had a Huey and everything, and I would have got dogs, and then I got booted from the fucking game. And what you doing, stupid? You can get some too, bitch. But so we just put them all together and everything, and the next two are on firing range, and they have to be like a world record. I mean, we cleaned those fucking kids' clocks.
Yeah, we were pub stomping.
We basically set up the relay. So it was like Dahlia would take a flag, I'd be sitting there waiting, and then I'd take a flag, then Flex would be sitting there waiting, and Flex would take a flag. And these kids, like, they had no clue what the fuck was happening to them. But anyway, enough about that. So this will satisfy everybody that's like, why no Black Ops? Why are you playing Modern Warfare 2? Because it's a better game and Black Ops sucks dick. So anyway, moving on from that, sorry about yesterday with the podcast situation. You know, I was getting everything ready to go, and everybody was about to get in the Skype call and everything, and I shit you not, right at like 4 p.m. the fucking electricity goes out. Just the whole fucking building.
For like 10 seconds, and then it comes back on.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go to reset the modem and everything and make sure that the internet's back up. And what, maybe like 5 minutes later, something like that, fucking again, and like everything just fucking cuts off, and I'm like, son of a bitch, man, this is fucking pissing me off because my computer's on and it's just cutting the power out to it, and that's not good for computers, so I'm not really fucking thrilled about it. But anyway, so the after what, the second time the power came back on again after like 15 seconds, and we're like, all right, cool, whatever. And then it was on for what?
Like 5 or 10 minutes later, and then the power goes out and it stays off for 90 minutes. And when we called the power company, they're like, oh, please welcome to our automated system where we tell you to fuck off because we're not going to do anything about your power being off, but we're going to tell you this really funny story about how, for some reason, there's an outage in your area, and it'll take till exactly 2:11 a.m.
Yeah, 2:11 a.m. is what their estimated time. Now, granted, it came on like an hour later, but I don't know where they come up with 2:11 a.m. I mean, 2:10, 2:15, 2:30, whatever. Like a nice round number, but 2:11 is a little bit awkward. Anyway, whatever. So that's, you know, that was their little automated robot guy telling us what time it would come back on. And, but prior to that, when the first outage had happened, we had, actually, you know what, hold on. We'll get into that stupid ass in a second. But anyway, so the podcast is going to be tomorrow as long as the power stays solid, the internet stays solid, everything's good. So far, since it came back on, it has been on and nothing has changed. It hasn't gone out anymore and everything was alright. So I'm hoping that it stays that way.
Wow, look at that tryhard. Lay down, stupid.
Yeah. What are you doing? What was he aiming at? The wall?
Remember how in elementary school they're like, hey, if you're not feeling well, put your head in your lap and lay down.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was feeling well, especially after I fucking riddled him with my MP5. Okay, so anyway, the podcast will be tomorrow as long as everything is okay, which I don't see any reason why not. So we're just gonna postpone it. It's still gonna be on Tuesdays, just for this week it's gonna be fucking Wednesday because, you know, thank God for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and their huge fucking electricity rates and poor quality of service.
And their awesome staff that does a wonderful job of making you feel like you're being fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the podcast is going to be on and everything. Now, let's get into the funny shit for this episode. We're going to talk about stupid people as these guys quit out. Now, I'd quit too if I was getting fucked that bad, to be honest. I'm like, hey, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Because they were stupid.
Yeah, I mean, this was the Express playlist, so no ghosties. Even though people still wear ghillie suits in the Express playlist, which I find to be fucking relatively hilarious, because It's just like, well, if you're too stupid to read the description Prius, then you deserve to fucking not have a perk.
Yeah. First perk? No, I'm a man. We don't use perks.
Yeah, exactly.
My leg falls off. I put some rope testing on it.
Yeah, they're playing like bare bones or something while we're playing, you know, normal. But anyway, okay, so when the power went out the first time and it came back on, I figured it was a fluke and it was just gonna stay, you know, on or whatever. And my modem wouldn't boot back up. The power light was on and the link light under it was just blinking. And it wouldn't fucking boot no matter how many times I unplugged it or how long I unplugged it for or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna call these fucking assholes at Time Warner. And I call them, and of course I get fucking Habib from whatever call center that he probably handles Dell and Gateway also, you know, those
somewhere
guys.
in Calcutta.
Yeah. And, you know, first he's like, well, let me check your modem and stuff. And I already told him that the fucking power went out for the whole area. Like, you know, not just my apartment. Like, the whole fucking, like, a couple of blocks. Like, a whole grid went down. And apparently that means nothing. Apparently that just has nothing to do with why the cable's not working now all of a sudden. You know, and he's sitting there, you know, he's reading his little list of shit. Like, okay, first, you know, get their name and their address. And then, second, find out what the problem is. And all this other shit. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not a racist or anything like that or whatever. I'm just, I don't like stupid fucking people. If you're stupid, then I'm gonna talk shit about you. And it's not, he could have been a fucking white guy, black chick. It doesn't matter. If they're fucking dumb, I'm gonna talk shit about them. So, you know, he's just reading through his shit and not really helping at all. And he's like, well, you know, we're gonna have the technicians go look at it. We're dispatching them now because there's like 67 out of 112 modems in your area that are down and all this other fucking horse shit. And I'm like, okay, well, you might want to put in your notes that, you know, there was a power outage and maybe that has something to do with it. Like maybe the hub went down and it needs to be rebooted or whatever the fuck it is that they do.
Right, so he gets a supervisor on the line from somewhere in the US, and next thing you know, they're like, holy shit, there's 69 customers that have an outage right now because we just checked our system. You don't have anybody watching that normally? Like,
well, of course
there's nobody watching a board, and like the big light goes out, and they're like, "Oh shit, Van Nuys."
Yeah, no, they don't know there's an outage until 30 people call. Like, what the fuck's wrong with my internet?
I know, but
you know?
Isn't that fucking stupid? Like, oh, Van Nuys is shit out of luck.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's
Sherman Oaks too. Let's call it. Let's phone a friend.
Fuck them all. They're all fucked. So anyway, and I tell him about the, you know, the power outage thing and how that may have affected the situation, and the guy just. He just repeats to me that they're gonna have a technician out there and it should be okay in like 2 hours, and that he's not putting, it's like he's not putting it in the notes or paying any attention to what I have to say that could be relatively fucking important. Who knows? But, you know, people are just fucking dumb, and they read off their little computer screen and they do only what, you know, they're told to do, I guess. They can't think outside the fucking box. God forbid.
By the way, I love when Diggy throws C4 up. He throws it over his head, and then they're like, dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I do kind of miss about playing Black Ops, because you know, you have the stuns, the frags, and you can run C4, and in MW2 you can't. Like, I'd rather run my stuns and frags rather than, you know, running C4 as my equipment. So that's one thing I do like about Black Ops. But anyway, moving on from that. So I guess you have a story of a fucking retard too, huh, Flex?
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny. I have another Time Warner, like, same bad company, different location.
I'm thinking we need to just get rid of them as far as our cable TV provider. Go back to AT&T, because Uverse had way better television, but Time Warner has better internet. So I think we might split them up, and then we can deal with, and then we can deal with two fucking idiots, you know, two separate bills and, you know, two different problems. But anyway, go back to your Time Warner
I like
experience.
headaches and heartaches. Okay, so the area is West Hollywood, California. A friend of mine lives down there, and she's got Time Warner. She has their digital phone, cable, and internet. And so they're doing their whole shebang. They install it. 3 days after they install it, the entire system just goes dead. So we call the customer service, and they're like, well, we don't know what the hell went on, blah, 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 yada, yada. We'll be out in 2 days. Okay, so
I'm sorry, look at my Pro Python. Did you see that? I ran out of ammo, and I'm like, oh, Python. Wait, look, I almost failed, but I still fucked this guy up. And it was theater mode, so don't, you know, my aim was not quite that bad. And then this guy's not showing up on the fucking Blackbird. Look at this. What the fuck? But I know I forgot, so I gotta let him, you know. Who let the dogs out? Diggy. Diggy. That's right. Go get them, bitches. All right. And then I'm gonna have to pull out my chopper. Anyway, okay, so finish your Time Warner story. I don't want anybody to be like, you forgot to say who let the dogs out. So, go ahead.
Now we're mowing the lawn.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish your Time Warner story. He's
so
just like zoning out here. I wish you could have seen his face. He's like,
So basically, they're like 2 days. So basically, for 2 days, she's got no phone, no internet, no cable. They finally get there, and the guy spends 3.5 fucking hours, and he's like, there for some reason, there's no service, and the line is like dead, like if somebody cut it in the wall, and blah, blah, blah. And then they come to figure out, well, basically her apartment is on the 3rd floor, and there's a unit directly below it, and one directly below that, and right below that is the server box.
Okay.
Well, what somebody did is they moved somebody into the 2nd floor. And the lazy technician who installed her on the 3rd floor couldn't figure out how to get the wires going. So he cut the wires on the 2nd floor and piped them up to the 3rd. So,
wow.
So they unhooked her internet and her TV
to hook the 2nd floor.
And hooked it into the 2nd floor. So the 2nd floor, they're like, why can't we call our own phone number? It doesn't ring our phone.
Wow. So they were getting her phone number and everything sent to her, to their apartment.
Right. It was all piped down, so the guy fixes it, runs all new lines, but here's the kicker. The guy who installed on the 2nd floor was the same asshole who installed on the 3rd floor and forgot that he had installed it the way he did.
Wow.
Winning, right? Okay, so what kind of jackass goes out and installs being a lazy ass, and then he's like, well, I'm going to be re-lazy, and I'm going to fuck somebody up that I know that I did this to them, and I'm going to fuck them out of service, and I'm going to...
It's those wonderful trained Time Warner technicians, bro.
This is what happens when you pay people $8 an hour.
Exactly. But anyway, this shit's over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 14 of Diggy and Flex. Don't forget, the podcast will be tomorrow. Please come by, say what up to the peoples. Mainly us, Driz, and Troy, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, this has been your man, Pro Diggy and Flex from the motherfucking Chaos Crew. But you can call me Diggy if you like. Don't forget, as always, to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in our sights.